So yesterday, Apple did something super insane, and I'm not really too sure how to or like what to make of it. I've been thinking about this a lot, which is pretty insane. Basically, the iPhone 10, the 2017 flagship, the first $1,000 iPhone we've ever seen from Apple, was basically discontinued in terms of software yesterday. Now, this may not come as a surprise to some people, but Apple has a history of kind of supporting phones and then dropping phones, but kind of giving weird lifespans to certain devices. I look at a phone like the iPhone 10, the first $1,000 phone. Some of you may not know this, and I mentioned this yesterday, but Apple didn't even give iOS 11, which this specific software was kind of retailed for, which this iPhone was kind of released with. It didn't even get all of the iOS 11 updates. So that right there was something that was very surprising. And because of that, I always felt like because of the similarity between the iPhone 10 and iPhone XS, that Apple would go ahead and pretty much support both of these iPhones in tandem. And I've been saying this since 2018. If you look back at some videos I made in 2018, I kind of felt like because they were so similar, that both of them would last kind of around the same time. And guess what? That completely did not end up happening, and the iPhone 10 has now been discontinued earlier than I would honestly expect. So much so, in fact, that I think the iPhone 7 last year was also very, very early. The iPhone 10 is even earlier to be discontinued. Now, I still think the iPhone 10 had a lot of power, and because of the gesture-based design and so many firsts that Apple brought with the iPhone 10, I feel like this iPhone could have lasted a much longer period of time. And for Apple to go ahead and discontinue this iPhone right now is so insane, considering the fact that iOS 17 was already such a minor update. It wasn't even that big of an update for them to go ahead and basically discontinue this phone. So that on top of that makes even little sense, because Apple could have just kept supporting the iPhone 10 and maybe limited some features here and there like they've done before on the iPhone 11 and the iPhone XS, 10 or 10s Max like they did already on iOS 17. Now the other thing, basically because iOS 17 was such a small update, I just don't see why Apple couldn't have gone through and just kept supporting the iPhone 10. The iPhone 8 and 8 Plus is one thing, but the iPhone 10 $1,000 phone, I feel like Apple could have kept supporting it. And finally, last year, Apple dropped support of 5 different iPhones. The iPhone 7, 7 Plus, 6S, 6S Plus, and iPhone SE first generation. This year, Apple just dropped support of another 3 iPhones, the iPhone 8, 8 Plus, and iPhone 10. That means that within the last year, Apple basically went through and discontinued and dropped support of 8 different iPhones at one time. How crazy is that? That Apple could go ahead and just drop support of those many iPhones at one time. It's honestly pretty crazy, and I'm not looking forward to seeing what Apple does with the next generation of iPhones. Like, is Apple going to go ahead and basically drop support of the iPhone, XS next year? I'm going to be very curious to see what ends up happening, but in terms of that kind of covers it up here. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.